The desert moon of Carthos was a place people were sent to disappear. A wasteland of burning sand, violent storms, and predators that hunted under twin suns. One blue, one white. No one came here willingly. No one stayed alive for long. And yet, fate dragged me here. My name is Yerrick Holt, former captain of the Terran Frontier Guard. I once commanded a battalion, saved colonies from pirate fleets, and stared death in the face more times than I can count. But none of that mattered after the Crown Court labeled me a traitor. My sentence: banishment to Carthos, the forsaken world used by the Empire as a political dumping ground. They stripped my rank, my home, my purpose, and left me with nothing but a desert and a broken landing pod. For 3 years, I survived by hunting dune serpents, salvaging crash debris from unlucky travelers, and hiding from the scorching suns. Carthos taught me one thing: survival is a lonely battle. Until the night I found her. Part 1. The Woman in the Sandstorm. The storm hit without warning, howling winds, slicing sand, thunder rolling across the dunes. I was heading back to my shelter when I saw something crash through the clouds. A shuttle. Small. Civilian. Burning. It spiraled down and slammed into the desert miles away, a fireball exploding across the horizon. Anyone on board was either dead or seconds away from dying. I should have ignored it. Survival meant staying away from trouble, from unknown threats, from anything that could kill you faster than the suns. But something in me, a soldier's instinct I thought exile had beaten out of me, refused to leave. So I ran. The sandstorm clawed at me, biting into my skin. The wind roared like a beast. But I pushed through the darkness until the wreckage appeared, half buried in dunes. Flames still burned, debris scattered across the desert. And lying amid shattered metal and glowing embers was a woman, young, pale, unmoving. Her clothes were torn royal fabrics. A golden crest lay broken beside her, half buried in sand. I froze. The crest was unmistakable, the emblem of House Vealoria, the ruling bloodline of the imperial crown. She wasn't just a woman. She wasn't just royalty. She was a princess. I knelt and pressed 2 fingers to her neck. Weak pulse. Faint, but alive. Her lips trembled as she exhaled, whispering a single word. Cold. Her eyes stayed closed. She didn't know who held her. She didn't know she was on a moon that devoured the living. And she had no idea she was lying in the arms of a man her family had banished. "Don't die on me," I muttered, lifting her gently. "I've had enough ghosts for one lifetime." I carried her through the storm toward my shelter, my carved-out stone cave, reinforced with scrap metal and long nights of stubborn determination. When I reached it, I kicked the door open and brought her inside. A princess. On Carthos. With no protection. Something was very, very wrong. Part 2. The princess who shouldn't exist. Hours passed as I cleaned her wounds, fed her fluids, and wrapped her in blankets. Her body trembled with shock and fever, but she clung to life. I had no idea who she was. Royal crests marked dozens of daughters across the empire, but her features were familiar. Raven black hair, silver eyes, even closed, they had a distinct glimmer. When she finally woke, sunlight poured through the cave's cracks. Her eyes fluttered open. She gasped and scrambled back against the wall. Who are you? Where am I? Relax, I said softly, raising my hands. You crashed. I pulled you from the wreck. She blinked rapidly, chest rising with panic. The shuttle was anyone else. Empty, I said. You were the only one on board. Her expression collapsed. Fear, grief, and disbelief twisting together. "No," she whispered. He promised he'd send guards. He promised. She covered her mouth, shaking violently. I sat beside her, but kept my distance. "What's your name?" She hesitated. Royalty didn't give their names to strangers. But she was alone, injured, with nowhere to hide. "Arya," she finally whispered. I froze. The name hit me like a hammer. Princess Arya Vealoria, the only child of Emperor Kaelin, the heir to the entire empire, a symbol of peace between alien coalitions, a beloved figure across the stars. And her father, the one who banished me. My jaw tightened. "Arya," I repeated carefully. "As in the imperial princess?" She nodded slowly. "And you?" Her eyes swept over my face. "You're human. Are you a smuggler? A mercenary?" "I'm nobody," I said, turning away. Her gaze lingered on me, examining, searching. "I remember something," she whispered. "In the storm, a man told me my shuttle was sabotaged. Someone wanted me dead. Someone in the crown court." My mind sharpened. A royal assassination attempt. On the air. And the universe dropped her onto my forsaken world. "Why were you traveling alone?" I asked. "My father sent me away," she murmured. "For my safety." But the moment I left orbit, we were attacked. My guards were killed. My pilot told me to run. Then everything went dark. She looked up at me. "I don't know who to trust." "Then trust the man who kept you alive," I said. She swallowed hard. Her silver eyes glistened. "You saved me." "Anyone would've." "No," she said firmly. "Not here. Not on Karthos. People don't save strangers on a death moon." I said nothing. She didn't know my crime. She didn't know the crown banished me. She didn't know her father cursed me as a traitor. And for now, I wouldn't tell her. Part 3, Raiders in the Sands. Arya recovered quickly. She was sharper, steadier, and stronger than she first looked. She asked questions, too many, but I answered what I could. 3 days later, trouble arrived. I spotted the raider skiffs at dawn, dust rising across the dunes, engines whining. Karthos scavengers. Brutal, lawless, killers of the weak. They hunted crashed ships for tech and people. They had picked up the shuttle crash. I grabbed Arya's arm. "We need to move. Now." Her face hardened instantly. "The raiders?" "Yes." She didn't panic. She grabbed her boots and followed. We raced across the dunes toward a canyon I used as a hideout. But sand vehicles were faster. Engines roared behind us. Gunfire cracked the air. We dove behind a rock as plasma bolts scorched the sand. Arya panted. "They're trying to flank. You know tactics?" I asked. She gave a humorless laugh. "Royal tutors. And a little combat training." Good. I needed someone who could keep up. We moved as soon as the firing paused. I led her through jagged boulders until we reached the canyon. But when we slid down the slope, 3 raiders dropped from above, ambushing us. I shoved Arya behind me and drew the plasma knife I kept hidden. A raider lunged. I sidestepped, slashed his arm, and kicked him into the sand. Another swung a metal club. I blocked, spun, and cut through his chest plate. But the 3rd raider aimed a rifle, directly at Arya. I sprinted toward her. Too far. Too slow. Then I heard a metallic click. Arya had grabbed a fallen raider's pistol. She fired. The shot hit the attacker square in the throat. He fell. She stood trembling, chest heaving, gun shaking in her hands. I grabbed her shoulders. "Arya, look at me." She looked up. "You did what you had to." "I've never," she whispered. "You survived." Her breathing steadied. But we weren't safe yet. More skiffs appeared on the ridge. "Move!" I shouted. We sprinted deeper into the canyon, sliding around corners until a cave mouth appeared. I shoved her inside. But the raiders weren't following. They were waiting for something. A shadow fell over the canyon. A ship, massive, armored, marked with the crest of the Crown Guard. Arya inhaled sharply. My father's elite soldiers. Then we're saved. "No," she whispered. "They're not here for us. They're here for me." Her voice trembled. "And if they see you, they'll kill you." My blood turned cold. She knew. She had heard the stories. The lies. The accusations. The sentence. "You're Yerrick Holt," she whispered. "The Banished captain." I didn't speak. Her eyes softened, not with fear, but with guilt. "My father said you betrayed the Empire." "I didn't." "I believe you." I stared at her. "You don't even know me." "I know you saved me," she said. "I know you fought for me. I know you risked your life for someone you thought was a stranger." She stepped closer. "Traitors don't do that." The ship above powered its engines. "We have to leave," I said. "Now." But leaving meant one thing. Arya had to choose if she trusted me more than her own crown. She didn't hesitate. She grabbed my hand. "Take me with you." Part 4. Escape across the dunes. We fled through underground tunnels carved by ancient lava flows. My old maps guided us, but the Crown Guard deployed drones, silver spheres that hunted heat signatures. Arya and I sprinted until our lungs burned. "Why would your father send assassins?" I asked between breaths. "He didn't," she said. "But someone the Crown Court did. Someone who wants the throne. If I die, the succession changes. And the easiest place to hide murder is a world where bodies vanish in the sand." We reached a cavern that led to the surface. My old sand glider, a patched-up hovercraft, waited hidden under rocks. I uncovered it. Arya stared. "It flies?" "Barely. Get in." We sped across the dunes as drones swarmed overhead. Plasma beams carved trenches behind us. The hovercraft sputtered, engine whining. "Hold on," I shouted. A drone descended, claws stretching toward Arya. She screamed. I jumped from the driver's seat onto the drone, slamming my knife into its casing. Electricity surged through my arm. The drone spiraled and exploded in midair. I crashed into the sand, rolling hard. Arya yanked the glider around and sped toward me. "Yerrick, get in." I jumped aboard, and we shot toward the horizon. But the Crown Guard ship was gaining, and in its shadow stood a figure I recognized instantly. The Emperor's Chancellor, Lord Varos. The very man who sentenced me. Arya gasped. "He's alive, but he shouldn't be here." He raised a hand. His voice echoed from speakers. "Princess Arya Vealoria, you should not exist." Arya froze. "What?" Her voice trembled. "You were not meant to survive the crash," Varos continued. "And the man beside you should have died years ago." He pointed directly at me. "Karthos was meant to erase you both." Arya's breath hitched with realization. He tried to kill both of us. Yes. Varos's men prepared their weapons. We were trapped between death and more death. Unless we did something insane. I slammed the throttle forward, steering directly toward the Chancellor. Arya's eyes widened. "Yerrick." "Hold tight." The hovercraft roared across the sand. Varos's soldiers scattered. Plasma fire streaked past us. We hit a dune, launching into the air. The hovercraft crashed onto the ship's ramp. We skidded straight into the interior hallway. Guards shouted. I grabbed Arya's hand. "Run." Part 5, Freedom in the Stars. We reached the command deck as Varos stormed in behind us. "End of the line, Holt," he hissed. Arya stepped in front of me. "No," she said, voice trembling but firm. "End of yours." She slammed her hand on the emergency override. The ship's engines roared, unmanned, uncontrolled. "What have you done?" Varos shrieked. "Given us a chance." I pulled Arya into the pilot's chair. "Strap in." The ship blasted off, spiraling out of the canyon, through the clouds, into the black embrace of space. Varos screamed behind us as I sealed the command deck door and ejected the hallway module. His voice vanished into vacuum. Arya sagged into her seat. "We're safe," she whispered. "For now." She looked at me. "Will you come with me? Back to the Empire? Back to clear your name?" "I'm a dead man there." "Not if I stand with you." Her eyes were bright, fierce, determined. "You saved me," she said softly. "And now, I'll save you." For the first time in years, hope sparked in my chest. "We'll go together," I said. "But it won't be easy." She smiled, a small, brave smile. "Nothing worth fighting for ever is." Full ending. The Princess and the Exile. When the ship stabilized, Arya approached me quietly. I turned. She stood inches away, eyes silver, steady, grateful. "You were banished by the crown," she whispered. "But I found you, and you saved me." She reached out and took my hand. "Yerrick, let's return not as enemies of the throne, but as the ones who tear the truth into the light." I squeezed her hand gently. "I'll follow you," I murmured. "Anywhere." She smiled, soft and hopeful. "Then let's go home." And as the stars stretched into lines and the stolen ship leapt into hyperspace, a princess and an exile, both betrayed by the same crown, began the journey that would shake an empire.